Ready.
Fam, here we are. It's Saturday, and for the 49ers diehard, this is your fix for the day. And we need this, right? You have pretty soon the free agents are going to be coming in, getting measured up for that 49er red and gold uniform, right? And we've got some folks going to have to leave their clothes in the dirty clothes hamper as they leave and say goodbye to the 49ers because why? They couldn't measure up. We've got places to go, things to accomplish, and if you're not here to help us, you're an hindrance. It's like a bull with, well, let me not use that analogy, but the thing is, if you're useless, you gotta go. So it's time to make room for the guys that can make us move. And there's Coach as our GM of the day. Coach, hello.
How you doing, Fammy?
I tell you,
How you
Coach,
doing, Ronbo?
I tell you, I'm doing great because we got another little over a week to go before we find out about the decisions being made. But Coach, you already know what decisions you're going to make, and that's what we're
Yep.
talking about today. So, and oh, by the way, let me remind 49er fans: if you're watching right now, fam, here's the thing: what you're going to do is you're going to listen out, and if you have the questions, go ahead during the course of the presentation. Hashtag Q. I'll see it. We'll post it up immediately so we can get back to the coach at the end of his presentation. And also, there's a little, in the Ronbo Sports app, you'll see a little chart there or a little survey bar that you can vote. Coach gets the thumbs up. And I'm not even going to mention the other alternative. Thumbs up. Come in and vote for the coach and let him know how you feel about him. And as we said, we're going to have the questioning at the end of it all. All right, Coach, let us go. Get underway. You're on, Coach.
All right. So, first things first. Got to say we're happy because we won the coin toss. Now we're picking ninth instead of 10th. I had to get that out there.
I like that, too. God, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to start
Wait,
with
Coach,
is
Coach, careful of the table. Like that table's making it. See if you can avoid that table. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, go ahead, Coach.
okay. So first things first, I want to say congratulations to Jimmy Garoppolo, our most important free agent, has signed his deal, of course, as we all know. And we also inked up Daniel Kilgore, his center, who he has supreme confidence in. So with that business out of the way, the first thing I'm going to address are the players that we are going to re-sign. So number one on my list, and probably the most, I would say, controversial player for fans and 49er fans especially, is running back Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get a lot of jeers, and I might get some cheers too, because we know that Carlos has had good seasons and bad seasons with us. PFF has him rated as a worse season last year, but we all know that entire team had a bad first half of the year. So
That's true.
I think you got to throw that out the window and take a look at his body of work as it relates to when they started to play better, which was about the 8th and ninth game of the year. Ninth game, I would say everybody started to kind of get it in the system. I took a look at his stats and some of the film. A lot of the plays that we were down on, he was actually avoiding the porous offensive line that we had, the missing of the blocks. And he made some good runs on broken plays. There were some zone plays designed to go inside, and our guard was pushed 4 to 5 yards back into the backfield. He bounced it and got a good gain out of it. This happened not more than a few times. It's happened quite a bit. So in reevaluating that, I said, you know what? I'm going to go look at other running backs in the league, find out what they got out there. And doing my comparisons, I took the PFF ratings aside because they based it on his entire season. And I looked at just the second half. And what I came up with was Le'Veon Bell aside, There was no other back out there really that was better than he was. So I think that Carlos Hyde should be re-signed, possibly a 2-year deal, maybe 3. But 2 years I think would be sufficient for him to show Shanahan what he could do in the system. Get a couple of better blockers in there with him, and let's see what he can do. You saw what he could do when Frank left, and we had a better offensive line. He had some good years there, so let's give him a shot. Second guy that I want to talk about is offensive guard Brandon Fusco. Fusco had one of the better ratings for a blocking guard in the, especially on the 49ers line. He was probably, besides Staley and Brown before Brown got hurt, he was one of the higher rated linemen. And he was consistent. He was very consistent, and I think he's worth bringing back. If nothing else, if we do sign a top name free agent, he could still be an outstanding backup or move to the other side. So Fusco to me is important. We need depth on our offensive line, and he's a good backup, if not a starter, for us. So he would be my second definite re-sign. My third one is right now a little more up in the air than I thought when I made this selection, but inside linebacker Brock Coyle. Outstanding special teams player, filled in really nicely inside. And I think, he's a guy that helps us from a depth standpoint. But unfortunately, the last few days or week, I've heard he's having some issues with the surgery that he had. He still is rehabilitating and so forth, but it's not going quite as good as they thought. So, but he is still worth keeping. At some point, he may not play during the preseason, but he'll definitely play in the early part of the year because Foster is most likely going to be suspended, and we're going to need him. The next guy on my list is defensive tackle, Mr. Overachiever himself, Chris Jones. Great practice player, great preseason guy. He even has an outside shot of making a team just because of his work ethic, if nothing else. The guy sends a great example to other players, and he keeps our offensive line on their toes. So I like Chris Jones a lot, his effort and everything. I think the defensive coaches like him for the same reasons. Then we got a cornerback. He was a backup last year, Asa Jackson. What I liked about Asa Jackson, and looking at the film, going back on the game film, he was not what you'd call a lockdown corner until you got squeezed. When the offense got squeezed in the red zone, Asa Jackson was as good as any on our team, probably in the top 20 as far as pass breakups. He had an interception in the red zone. And, of course, this preseason, he played very well as well. So, and then he got the injury, and we really couldn't see any more of what he could do. But I've looked at his play elsewhere and his film in the games he did play, and I liked him very much in the red zone. So he's a guy that can come in a dime package and help us out tremendously in the red zone. Another signee that I want to keep, of course, has already been signed, and that's offensive linebacker Cassius Marsh, as we all know. Marsh is a decent pass rusher who really came on as the year went on with us, and I think he's going to continue to improve. This was a smart signing. For me, I think he's a guy that I want to have in there either rotating or as our outside linebacker in that Leo position possibly. But Cassius Marsh is definitely a keeper. The next guy I have was also signed already, linebacker Mark Ziocha. He I haven't seen a whole lot of. We played a few downs here and there, I think. I don't believe he had a start all year, but he was a great practice player. He showed a lot of potential, and I want to bring him back and see what else he can do. So definitely want to keep him around. And the next player that I have on my list is a running back, Raheem Mostart. Now you all know him. Mostart, it gives us a great special team player. And as he showed in the preseason, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's got tremendous speed and avoidability, getting through the defense. So I like him as part of our rotation, if not at least a special team in the return game. And he can also cover too, so he's a good cover guy to have outside. The next guy would be again for depth, and that'd be cornerback. That's Leon Hall. He gives us a veteran presence. Leon is not going to be a starter for us, but he is definitely going to help out. He's going to be able to continue to tutor the young guys, especially Akello and anybody new that we bring in through the draft. Leon's got a lot of experience, and I think that will help in the development of our other corners. And he'll give us another body out there again in dime packages and so forth with experience that we can rely on, especially in the preseason and early on in the season if we start racking up injuries again. Safety that we're going to keep again, Anton Exum. We need some depth there because of Eric Reid's situation. We're not sure if he's going to come or stay or go. I think right now we have the safety positions locked down for starters, but Exum's going to give us that extra body, and again, he's going to contribute on special teams. So I want to keep him around for depth and also to help out on special teams. And then my last guy, I think is probably the best. I saved the best for last, and it's just a safety, and his name is Eric Reid. Now, Eric's been with us for since the beginning, since we drafted him. Eric has shown tremendous flexibility, outstanding leadership. He's an awesome tackler, and he just brings a certain fire to the defense that really showed, especially in the latter half of last year. So he, just like Carlos, they're going to be given a chance to go ahead and test the free market, see what kind of offer they can get or what have you. And as long as it makes sense for us, we want to bring him back because he's still going to be able to contribute in the box as a box safety. I think that's his strength. And I would certainly like to see him play with us, even in a platooning role with Jaquiski Tart. So those are my players that we definitely want to re-sign. I then have a short list of guys that I am not going to re-sign. I'm not going to bring back. And that list is going to start with, and I know a lot of you guys like this guy. Salas said he likes him. But in looking at his film work, his body of work over the last 3 years really has not been good. And that's defensive lineman Tank Carradine. Tank is a guy that at the level he's playing at right now, we could do better. We can get somebody at least as good as him. We already have guys on our roster right now as good as him. And it's possible, there's some unseen potential there. But for me, I think the waiting has gone on long enough. I think we know what we got with Tank. He's about as good as he's going to get. And for me, it doesn't make sense to bring him back. The next guy, really the writing was on the wall last year, and that's outside linebacker Aaron Lynch. Lynch, I'm going to cut loose for several reasons. His level of play has dropped off. He came in out of shape last year, which said a lot about his work ethic, determination, I think. And toward the end of the year, Coach Shanahan sat him, didn't even dress for games, and he was a healthy scratch. So that tells you right there what's going on from the inside perspective with the coaching staff. So, Aaron, sorry, buddy, but you're out of here. I love you, but you're out of here. Third guy would be cornerback, and that is Dante Johnson, of course. Dante has had some good plays over the course of his career with us, but he's had more bad ones. Unfortunately, he's the bottom of the league ranked corner, not a starter, and he would not be in my plans going forward as far as defensive backs go in our scheme. So Dante, got to see you later. Next guy would be tight end, purely a blocker, nothing else, and that's Logan Paulson. I think he's one-dimensional. He doesn't help our offense tremendously. We have Selleck can block just as well, and I'm sure we can bring in. Well, we have Cole Hicatini coming off of the IR. Hicatini's a good blocker and a great receiver, so I think that makes Logan expendable. So we're going to say goodbye to Logan. Center Tim Barnes. I think some people will say, well, you want to keep him around for depth or what have you. No, Zane Beatles has already shown he can play center if we need him to, and so has a couple other guys that we have on our both on our practice squad and in our IR list right now. So Tim Barnes, when he got his chance, he just didn't perform. I'm not bringing him back. Offensive tackle Gary Gilliam. Now, initially, I had him as a cut or someone not to re-sign because I really thought he was a guy who felt he should be starting, and he did make some comments about that. But the 49ers front office has decided to keep him. I think it's a smart move because, again, we have a situation with Trent Brown where he's not rehabbing as quickly as he should be, which means he may not be available early in the season again, at least not the first week. So I think it's smart to bring him back, but I did have him as a cut originally. Wide receiver, Lewis Murphy. Lewis Murphy had a lot of bad plays. Got the ball taken away from him a few times, a little lazy on his routes. And I'm looking at film on this when I'm evaluating, of course. He made a couple of good plays, but, we can get that from other receivers, I think, and without all the bad. So I think Kendrick Bourne has really stepped up and kind of made him expendable at this point. So I think Lewis we're going to let him go. The next guy would be another guy that we had signed for depth due to injury, and that's Ledger Duzable, or Leger Duzable, however you pronounce it. Duzable played well a couple of games that he got in there. He had a really good game with 3 sacks in one game, or 2 sacks in one game. But he wasn't consistent, and he got handled in a few other games in the run game. So my opinion of him is basically that we can do better. And like I said, we've got guys coming off IR and so forth that are just as good as he is, if not better. And we've got the draft, so Duzable won't be with us this coming year. So now, Ronbo, if you're ready, I'll move into free agents.
I am so ready. Let us do those free agents.
All right. Well, my number one free agent.
Wait. Your cuts.
Target.
Well, Coach, how about your cuts?
The cuts? Oh, the cuts, yes. There were 3 guys that I just felt weren't contributing enough. And even when they played, they didn't play as well as I would have liked. And those would be the first guy, of course, would be outside linebacker Eli Harold. Eli Harold, to me, we've had that guy for 4 years now. He's making $3 million a year, I think. He's had a couple of good plays, but from a consistency standpoint, it's just not there. He can't cover. It's obvious. We need a better athlete there, and I think Cassius Marsh gives us that. So, due to the signing of Cassius Marsh, I think Eli's expendable. So, we're going to let Eli go. Probably a pre-June 1 cut, so he has a chance to latch on with another team. Second guy would be another guy who, again, he played well at times, but the consistency wasn't there, and that's Dakota Watson. Again, another outside linebacker, defensive end type. We tried him in there at Leo. He didn't hold up well playing the Leo position. Then we just had him in on pass rush downs. And when Cassius Marsh started, we signed him and he started playing. He really kind of took over for Dakota Watson and Eli Harold and sat them both down. So they didn't. Watson didn't get as much playing time, and he got dinged up as well. So I'm going to let him go. The third guy, all depends on what's available to us, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to let this guy go, and that's Zane Beatles. Zane, bless his heart, he tried. But
Coach,
the guy.
I can tell it's breaking your heart to say goodbye to Zane Beatles.
He just,
tough decision,
I love him as a person. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of guys I cut. I really like them as people. I think they're good guys, but they're just not playing up to the level they need to play at.
Yeah.
And Zane, unfortunately, is one of those guys.
All right.
And we've got Garnett coming back. I think Garnett's probably gonna beat him out anyway.
Yeah.
For that position. So I'd say it's just the writing's on the wall. Zane, we'll give you a chance to latch on with somebody else. We're going to let you go. We got 3 young guys sitting on the roster right now in the back burner that are ready to step up and be backups. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep him around. He's making more money. It's a smart move, I think, financially.
No, but I tell you, Coach, he's going to be looking for, he's going to be out there. Nobody's going to pick him up. And then you're going to be responsible for having thrown poor Zane out into the cold, dark streets. So, Hey, Coach, I got some questions. We got some questions. They're bulking up kind of big, so let's do that before we get to the end of it.
Sure.
We'll go right to the... Oh, Jose, happy birthday to Jose Chavez. He's not feeling well, though. Oh, Jose, man. God.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, all right. Jose, we happy birthday in the meantime, Jose. You can happy birthday tomorrow when you're feeling better, all right? First question is... from Jay Austin, why would you keep Asa Jackson?
That's the question?
Yeah, that is the question. Yeah, why are you keeping Asa?
Well, I just told you the reason why I'm keeping him is his ability to play in the red zone in our dime package. Asa is he's got skills in the short area. He's not a guy that I would put out there as a starter. But he is good enough to play in a dime package when we need him. And he's one of the better options we have on our roster.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. And guys, also, when you put these questions up, let's go to, I'm sorry, I'm getting some kind of signal here. Okay. You go ahead and free agents? Hey, Coach, we got a few. I'm going to save those. Go ahead and hit those free agents, Coach. Let's have them.
All right, free agency. This is what I love about being a GM. Our number 1 guy is going to be the most coveted guy in free agency, I think, this year, and he's coming to San Francisco because I'm going to make sure of that. And that's offensive guard Andrew Norwell from Panthers. Andrew, you know what he gives us. Go back and look at his film. All we got to do is watch him play. He is a road grader as a blocker on the run game. He's a fantastic pass protector. And I'll tell you something that's important for us on our offensive line is he doesn't commit penalties.
Yes.
So when you get down there in the red zone and it counts and you got to get points, he's not going to commit some dumb foul and get you backed up 10 yards or 15 yards. So the good thing is he does play to the whistle, but he's aggressive and physical, and he brings an attitude to our offensive line that we need. I think that's going to be tremendous. A lot of guys talk about the rookie out there like that, but Norwell has the experience, and he gives us an instant upgrade in our offensive line and someone who's going to help protect Jimmy. So that's our number 1 free agent. I'm not talking about money now. I want to bring this up now because a lot of guys are going to probably ask. The reason why I'm not talking about money is Parag Marath handles that. Okay?
All right.
So I didn't want to get into the money end of it. But if you do the math on these guys, you'll find out that we've still got plenty of cap space. We're in good shape. Norwell's going to probably sign a long-term deal, maybe 4 or 5 years. He'll stick around with Jimmy. and the likes of Trent Brown, if Trent gets healthy again and loses a little bit of weight. Josh Garnett's coming back off injury. I think Josh is going to come out with a new mission in life to play right guard better. He has lost weight from what I'm hearing, so his work ethic's there. So I think our offensive line is going to be more improved next year, right from the get-go. This guy seals the deal. Norwell seals the deal for that.
All right.
My second free agent is going to be a little bit of a surprise to some folks because they probably don't even know the guy's name. But his name is Ross Cockrell. He was a starting corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers up until last year when the Steelers traded him after signing Joe Hayden. He went to the Giants and he played mostly backup, but he did start a few games as well. He is the 7th ranked corner for coverage ability.
Ooh.
And I'll just take a look here real quick and tell you. 7th rated, he was tied for 7th. And he was 9th in his pass breakups and overall yardage per catch that he gave up. So pretty good numbers. I don't put everything that I used to evaluate into the numbers. Okay, that's part of it. But that's to tell you that he sits there and he's in the top 10 in the entire league. Now, what I looked at is film. 2 things about this kid. Number one, he's 26. He'll be 27 in August. So he's going to have a long time playing with us. Secondly, the guy has covered the best receivers in the league and has not been beat deep. Okay? The guy doesn't get beat. Every time a receiver catches a ball on him, he's right there in his hip pocket every single time. And he's either got his arm in there, he's competing for the ball, or he's making the tackle. I haven't seen him miss tackles. I haven't seen him get burned, like I said. And it really was a head scratcher when the Steelers traded him because they only got like a 4th round, I think, for him. So people were kind of like, huh? But Joe Hayden, he had the name and the rep and everything. So coming in, that's what made him expendable. It was nothing that Cockrell did wrong. He's still, it's funny because he's a young looking guy, just like Akello. He looks like he's that young, but actually, I went back and looked at his film in the Senior Bowl when he played in that. And in the Senior Bowl, he was locked down. He had 2 picks and a breakup in the Senior Bowl he played in. Even though they got beat in the game that he played in the bowl game, he had 3 or 4 breakups in that game and a pick. So he's a very good corner from the standpoint of our scheme. And I'll tell you, he reminds me a lot of a guy I used to watch play back in the day for the Raiders. And I'm not talking about Lester Hayes. I'm talking about the guy that was on the other side that wore number 22, if you remember him. But not to mention Raiders, but I know that's kind of sacrilegious here. However... But I'm just
Coach,
saying.
Is that Jack Tatum?
No. I'm going a little bit further ahead. He actually came from the Patriots, and they signed him. His name was Mike Haynes.
Oh, yeah. Haynes was good. Yeah.
Haynes was a good, consistent corner, always around the ball, didn't get beat deep, challenged the receiver every time. That's what you get with Cockrell. And that's what we need in our defense. We don't need a guy running by our corner with him looking in the backfield like, DJ did. And then turning around, the guy's 10 yards behind him.
Yeah, too late, yeah.
Yeah. The technique in this kid is Cockrell has very good technique. It's very polished. He's got great hips. He's got great back pedal. He's physical. and he's about 6'1", almost
Ooh,
6'1",
yeah, that helps.
and he goes about 195, 197 pounds. So, but again, I just suggest to people go back and look at his tape with Pittsburgh, and you'll see there's a lot of film on him, and he's a baller. So that's a guy we need. So that would be my next signing there. I think it's almost as important as our guard because he's on the defensive side, and we do have a glaring weakness at corner.
Yeah.
He would take care of that right away.
Oh.
Number 3 guy. Now, everybody knows I've been putting out there for a while that I really like Allen Robinson, and I wanted to bring him in. And then I started hearing rumors that, oh, well, Jacksonville's probably going to tag him. And it's possible they do. They don't have anybody else they would tag over him, but they don't have to use the franchise tag. They could just sign him, let him test free agency. But you don't really know what you're getting with Robinson as much because he hasn't had. 2016 wasn't a good year for him. In 2017, he was hurt all year. So you really have to go back to 2015 to look at his numbers, and he had very good numbers back then: 80 catches, 1,400 yards. I think it was 9 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns. Great receiver in the red zone. However, he doesn't fit Shanahan's scheme. And that's really what I kind of went with this, because I thought, okay, what have we learned about Shanahan? We've learned that he loves to play small ball with his guys. Robinson didn't fit that. So then I thought, okay, well, what about red zone? Well, red zone, in Shanahan's scheme, the red zone receiver comes from the slot or the tight end position.
Mm-hmm.
That's George Kittle. Okay. That's Cole Hicatini. Both those guys are great in the red zone.
Don't forget Selleck time.
Yep, and Selleck as well. Now, Selleck doesn't have the separation those guys can get because they're quicker. But Selleck has got good hands. He's shown that. And Jimmy has, again, having Jimmy throwing the ball to him raises everybody's play. So I'm not real.
And coach, Selleck is that guy that nobody guards because it's just what you just said. Who cares? Yep. He's out there, so what? Covers Kittle. Cover everybody but Selleck. Jimmy saves it. Boom!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. So my thinking changed here on Robinson, and I went more with the small ball guy because there's one element of Kyle's game that is missing, believe it or not. And this guy's going to bring that element to our game. And that's the short bubble screen. Okay. We don't have the guys. I mean, Garcon can do it, but generally Garcon plays on the X side, which is the single receiver, because he's technically, I guess you'd say, he's a number one, even though Shanahan really doesn't have a number one in his scheme. Number one is the guy who you throw to on alert. So what this guy brings is the ability to catch the ball on a bubble screen and take it to the house. And that's Taylor Gabriel. Taylor played in Shanahan's scheme, so he can come right in and start playing right away, no problem. He knows the system. He can start catching balls, right from the get-go. And what I love about him is he's not so great, I mean, he can get downfield, but that's not the strength of his game. The strength of his game is really in that short area. Because, we got the guys that can get out there and block. And Garcon, he's a devastating blocker. So you get him on that side and Garcon gets, busts him loose, this guy could go. He's got that kind of speed. So I think Gabriel, as a free agent this year, is looking at coming back into Shanahan's scheme. And it makes sense, I think, from a scheme standpoint, because that's one element of his game that's missing. So I really do feel that Taylor Gabriel would be a good pickup for us. The next guy I'm going to talk about is going to help us twofold. Of course, Reuben Foster, as we know, probably going to be hit with a suspension. Could be anywhere from 4 to 8 games. Hopefully not that much, but telling you, the NFL, man, they're starting to really crack down on guys when it comes to guns and domestic stuff and all that, drugs. Even though I personally don't feel that any of that was serious enough to warrant it, I think 2 games would be enough as far as I'm concerned. But it'll probably be 4 to 6 games most likely. So you need to bring in a guy that can play, but who can also move around. And I want to bring in an inside linebacker who can play for Ruben, but also if Brock can't go, he's actually a better player than Brock is. If Smith is iffy on his health and Brock can still go, well, then this guy can play with Brock inside. And the other thing he gives us, he's had 5 sacks last year for the New York Jets. And so he can rush the passer too. But he's a fantastic leader on the field. So if let's say Eric Reid decides, hey, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to take, $10 million or whatever and go play with the Seahawks or whoever it is. This guy can come in, and from a leadership standpoint on that defense, he can get everybody lined up and balling on every down. And that's Demario Davis. Demario Davis he's the number 6 rated inside linebacker in the NFL. 5 or 6. I think it might be actually 5. According to rankings on tackling, on coverage, and on rushing the passer, he's in the top 7 guys, every category. Okay. He's only a 5-year player, so he's not old. This is his 6th year. So he balled out for the Jets. The Jets got the young linebacker Lee that they got from Ohio State 2 seasons ago. It's kind of taken over that role, but Davis has still been playing with him inside and been good, but now he's a free agent. They don't look like they want to bring him back. They've got some cap issues. They just released Muhammad Wilkerson as an example. So I look for this guy not a kid, but he's a veteran, to come in and help our defense right away. And then when Foster comes back and he can stay healthy, Demario can move outside on rundowns, and he can set the edge. This is a guy that he's physical, and he's fast enough off the edge that if they throw on first down, he can rush the passer. So I'm not worried about that aspect. So our defense will get better because of this guy. The next guy I'm going to bring in is, again, a name probably a lot of people don't know, but go back and look at film on him again, just like Davis and all the rest. His name is a defensive lineman, and his name is Coney Ely. Wow. Now, Coney Ely was, I think, originally drafted by the Patriots. He was signed through, I think, his 3rd year or fourth year, got in there, and then they released him. What they did is they put him on the wire, hoping to re-sign him. I'm not even sure he played the full time with them, but they put him on the wire. He went through the league, and of course the Jets snagged him up. And Coney Ely had a really good year with the Jets, both from a pass rushing standpoint and a run stopping standpoint. He can play all up and down the line, inside, outside. If the experiment with Eric Armstead doesn't go anywhere, this is the guy that's going to put him out of a job. Okay? That's what I feel. And again, like I said, go back and look at film on him. You'll see what I'm seeing. This guy's a baller, and he gets penetration. He disrupts things. That's what we need. We need guys on that D line that can disrupt offensive line scheming, and this guy can do it. Bill Belichick loved him, but he took a risk and he took a gamble and he lost. The Jets took him right away as soon as they could. So, but he's now a free agent, and he's hopefully somebody that would be open to coming here and playing with us. So that would include my free agent signings It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I'm going to pursue.
All right.
Of those 5, if I get 3 of them, we're going to be in really good shape, especially on the guard and on the defensive side of the ball.
All right. I want to just address something really quick. I saw a guy. What would you give up for Norwell? By the way, Norwell, you don't have to give up anything for. Norwell's a free agent. Free agent means you don't have to give up anything. You just sign him if you can. All right, go ahead, Coach. I wasn't clear that. I saw that question. What? Okay.
Yeah. No, money-wise, I can tell you that from a salary standpoint, he's probably going to be a top guy. The best guys in the league right now are averaging about between 10 and 13 million, a year. He's going to fall somewhere in that range, maybe on the upper end of it. Joe Thomas is making 13.2 per year. He's probably the best tackle in the league. The tackles make a little more than the guards, so I'm thinking maybe 12 or 13 is what he'll probably sign for.
But you got to, you know what, Coach, free agents will always, you have to overpay a little bit. But it's okay with Norwell. Yeah. I'll pay him 14. Because 12, 13, 14, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, Norwell is worth it. He's one guy that you put, just like Jimmy, you put money into him. He's a franchise guard.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
So in Carolina, I mean, they've talked about the scuttlebutt I've been hearing out of there is they're going to franchise their kicker.
I heard about that.
Yeah, not
Coach,
the guard.
What does that tell you, though? They don't have any money. They're trying to sell. Exactly. It's a fire sale going on, but nobody's saying anything like that. But they just got rid of Stewart. I mean, people are just leaving. I look for something to happen to Cam Newton before in the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't that be special?
Yeah, well, you never know, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of things that can happen. It's a wild, wacky league.
Yeah. Especially when you got a Me Too got you. And I don't know, they won't tell you exactly what happened there, but that franchise is getting ready to get burnt down, but it's quietly getting burnt down. It's amazing.
Yeah, remember they're trying to sell the team too.
Yeah. Right? Well, that's why. There's some
Yeah.
scandal going on, and it seems to be growing like an infection. And you're seeing players, you're franchise tagging the kicker for what? It's wild, weird. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So
I think we got Robbie Goldline locked up for a few years, right?
Yeah. So they're not going to get him. They're not going to sign him. So I don't know. Yeah. Right.
I did have one other thing, like I mentioned to you, that I wanted to bring up.
Right.
That has to do with the cap casualties. We've already seen a couple of them. Muhammad Wilkerson got cut loose by the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know that he fits our scheme defensively. The rumors that are coming out of New York is that he wasn't agreeable to playing in Bowles' scheme or doing what he wanted him to do. He was one of those guys that was bitter over Ryan being fired. So I think he was a Ryan guy. That could have had something to do with that, but not a kind of guy that we want to bring in. I think potential attitude problem, maybe. Good player, but not consistent in the attitude. It's just not there. But there,
character issues.
There's a couple guys. Oh yeah. There's a couple guys to watch though here as things get going. When you look at the salary cap situation, the first thing you look at is the teams that they're desperate. They have to get rid of players. The Eagles are top the list. They're 10 million over the cap. The Dolphins are next at 8 million over. And then the Chiefs are sitting at about 2 million now. They've dumped some cash because they got rid of a couple players, like traded Peters and Alex Smith. So it's going to put them, I think when the Smith deal is done, that's going to put them at positive like 8 or 10 million. Then you got the Steelers. The Steelers have only got 6 million in cap space right now. So those teams are probably going to offload a few players. And they won't be top tier guys necessarily. They'll be older players with longer contracts. But there's a couple of them out there. Kansas City, of course. I believe, as of the time I submitted this, Derek Johnson, the inside linebacker, was still. They were talking about releasing him. They may have released him already. He would be a decent pickup. Somebody that could play, for Ruben for 6 weeks or 8 weeks in our scheme, but not a scheme fit necessarily. He's just somebody that I earmarked as a possible pickup. Of course, there's Miami. Miami's got issues. They got a guy playing defensive end for them, pass rusher. He averages 10 sacks a year. He's now 32. I think he's 32 years old, and that's Cameron Wake. Now, Cameron Wake brings to me, when I watch him play, there's a guy that he reminds me of. He has a motor and I'm going to prove you wrong kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of Fred Dean. His technique, he has a little more speed than Fred had, but that's normal today. But Cameron would be a good pickup, I think, as a pass rush specialist.
Yeah, but he's a little older than that, though, Coach.
Yeah, he's 30. He's in his 30s. I know that. Mid-30s, maybe.
Yeah. It's okay.
But he's not too old to play. He just had a great year.
Yeah, no, there's a couple guys out there like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. All right.
And I think, if Dumerville slows down, Dumerville got 6.5 sacks last year. If Dumerville slows down this year and only gets a couple, Wake would be a great change-up to bring in. He plays really well off that edge. And not only can he get around tackles, but he can take the tackle and move him right into the quarterback. So he's got the physical prowess as well.
Well, Coach.
Possibility.
All right. Anybody else? We got a bunch of questions for you. So
okay.
Okay. So anybody else you want to mention though?
Just real quickly, I got one other guy, and that's a corner. Wouldn't be my choice to trade for him, but if the Broncos want to release him, I'd definitely bring him in, and that's Aqib Talib.
Yeah.
Aqib, he's got tenacious attitude. He's a veteran.
Yeah, he's just a mean person. We could
sign him. Yeah, we could sign him on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And although I think his skills are starting to diminish, especially his speed, I think his speed has come down a little bit the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that could play our scheme, on that cover 3, and be back and play really effectively. So it's just a couple things to consider going forward on the free agency aspect.
Because Coach, on the cover 3, speed, he just needs it, and we're talking about a crafty, evil, mean, I know how to fool with this guy's mind kind of cover guy. Because you got the safety back there, and if it is indeed Adrian Colbert, need not worry about that guy getting away though. So I like to leave for 1 year, and Coach, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but you go ahead and get to leave for 1 season. And we make sure the Colbert's back there to cover any mistakes and erase anything. And then we go ahead and bring in that premier kid that we think is going to come out of the draft and be a star to sit back, learn, work, pick up the speed. Maybe even by half season, Talib is angry as hell because Aqib, we're going to play Isaiah. I'm thinking of Isaiah Oliver. We're going to play Isaiah for half the game, and then see what happens there. And he keeps it. Well, if y'all brought me over here just to make me sit down, then you can just trade me right now. Oh, okay, Keith, we've got that. We're prepared for that, too. We've already traded you.
Yeah. By the way. Gave us 8 great games. We'll see you later.
Coach, hey, by the way, let me make an announcement here. It seems that Quentin Nelson has proposed to Panama Queen. I don't know if she's going to say yes or not, but she's got a lot of hearts next to her name. So, Quentin, keep working that there, buddy. Hey, let's go to the questions. We need to go to commercial. Antonio McCoy says we need to go to commercial break.
Commercial break. Okay.
Wait a minute, I'm not sure. Oh, it's what? One more. Oh, we got to keep. I'm a little confused. Okay. Blank. I'm getting signals on here. I see Antonio McCoy says we need to go to commercial break. And maybe I guess we're going to have to pause Are we pausing for a moment? Is it? Oh, Coach, it's the free agent you're missing. You're missing one free agent. No?
I am?
Oh.
I mentioned DeMario. No, that was it. I think I covered them all.
He is. You know.
What position?
Ooh, I don't know, Coach. I'm a little confused. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead. Oh, let me. I'm gonna post up on the screen. Oh, he did mention. Didn't you mention Muhammad Wilkerson?
I mentioned him as a cut casualty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay.
But probably not a fit for us, only because I think he might have some attitude issues.
Yeah. Okay. Carlos Hyde.
Still a possibility, but
okay. I'm gonna go over really quick because I didn't think you missed
not for me.
Okay. Players will be resigned as Carlos Hyde, Brandon Fusco, Brock Coyle, Chris Jones, Asa Jackson, Cassius Marsh, Mark. Hey, Coach, pronounce Mark's name.
Cassius?
I mean his last name, Mark NZ.
Mark Ziachok. I'm sorry, Zioka.
You're the only guy I know that can pronounce his name. I'm impressed. There it is. Raheem Mostert, Leon Hall, Antone Exum Jr., and Eric Reid. All right, these are the players that will be resigned. Players that will be saying goodbye. Coach is getting rid of Tank Carradine, man. I may be the only person I know that wants to keep Tank. Me and Robert Saleh. But, if he's got to go, he's got to go. Okay, Aaron Lynch, a no-brainer on that one. Dante Johnson, Logan Paulson. These guys have not done too much. They can go ahead and go somewhere else and do not too much. Tim Barnes, Gary Gilliam. Tim Barnes has got to hope he doesn't end up in Green Bay, where he was manhandled last year by one Quentin Dial. Doing drills. Gary Gilliam will not be able to Gilliam. Lewis Murphy and Ledger. Let's see, the French prince Ledger. Doozable.
Yeah.
The cut list includes Eli. I'm trying the best I can. Harold. Zane.
Jed overruled me on Gary Gilliam, so Jed decided to keep him.
Also, the cut list includes Zane. I can do it all, Coach. Please let me stay, Bagels. And Dakota. But look at my biceps. Don't I deserve a place on this position on this team?
And he's got the cutest kids.
That's in the game points right there, Coach. So there you go. There's the cut list. Now I get what I was being told to get that. We're going to get the list up. All right. Candidates. The free agents include offensive guard, of course, and as the very rude and consistent Chris Schultz mentioned, everybody signs the Andrew Norwell. Quarterback Ross Cockrell, wide receiver Taylor Gabriel, and I saw the argument on the chat. Taylor Gabriel over Landry all day. Landry's the most overrated wide receiver in the NFL.
He's too stiff-legged too. You see when he runs, the kid, he's going to start having hammy problems. I can guarantee you. Watch.
And he runs stiff and tight. And he's got no speed, and everything you see him do, he goes down. Landry's the only guy I know that can get 200 receptions and only have it for 175 yards. I do not see why people are excited about that. Also, Demario Davis, inside linebacker, defensive line, bringing in Coney Ely as a candidate. Salary cap casualties could be in the 49ers camp, but I'm sure John Lynch already knows about them. Cameron Wake, Aqib Talib. Hey, listen, Aqib Talib would be fun to have on hand, especially for no other reason other than when Michael Crabtree comes, we want to make him feel welcome. We have one more cap casualty. And Muhammad Wilkerson. Yes. All right.
I tell you, I'd sign Aqib just for that game.
Yeah, and Crabtree would just he'd crawl into a crab shell. Oh, all right. Are we ready for? Are we going to go to? Are we going to go to questions? All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay, Jim Thomas, have you checked into trading for Jadeveon Clowney? Coach, Coach, that's for you.
Clowney?
Yeah, Jadavian.
Would I trade?
Yeah, have
Would
you
I
checked
trade?
into it? I don't know why he would ask that question. Jim, I'm not sure why he would
No.
ask that question. But go ahead. Coach, what are your feelings on that?
Trading for Clowney? No. The reason why is because, again, he doesn't make sense for us from a cap standpoint. You got to remember, too, there are about a half dozen guys on our team, on our roster right now, that are going to come up for contracts in the next 2 to 4 years, right?
Mm.
Now, when that happens, you got to have the money to sign them. So if you're bringing in all these veteran stars, too many of them, or trading for guys like Clowney, who's going to demand a premium salary,
Yeah.
then you're limiting what you can do down the road with the young guys that you want to keep.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
And again, I'm not a cap. I'm not looking at it from a cap standpoint solely, but Clowney had a decent year this year without Watt in there, without Merciless in there. He was the guy, and he really played up to the level that he was capable of. But he's not, to me, he's not that kind of player year in and year out. I mean, I've been watching him. He's been in the league now. This is his fourth year?
At least, yeah. He's got to be up for contract renewal soon.
Yeah, maybe next year or the year after. But they'll probably exercise the option on him. But I don't know. I just haven't seen the consistency. The guy's had a lot of health problems. Every year he seems to be hurt. Even this year he got hurt and missed a few games. So I just can't see overpaying for a guy like that when you can get the same kind of production off a platoon crew. Like, if you go back to the 80s and what we did with the guys we had back then, I mean, you remember the names: Fred Dean, Dwayne Board, Jeff Stover, Pete Kugler. I mean, we had guys rotating in and out, playing, and doing an effective job of rushing the passer defense. So I think that works because this is the ideal situation for what you want to do with your D line, is keep them rotated.
All right.
When you got a guy like Clowney, he don't come out very many plays, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, let's go to Psycho Sid. He's got a question. With Atlanta, and I didn't even know about this one. Levine Tololo. Is that right? Tololo. Yeah. They cut Tololo? Do you agree with me in saying it's a 100% chance we sign? Tololo got cut?
Was that the tight end?
Yeah. Is that accurate? Psycho said. Whoa!
No, I didn't actually hear that.
Yeah, if they cut Tololo, that's insane. He may be one of their key guys. Okay, we'll go back to that one. Okay, Brunel Jacobs, would you select Quay Griffin in the 4th or 5th round? He looks like he'd be something special. Coach, and this pulls a lot of our heartstrings. When you see a guy that's that determined, he's got that handicap. He benched 20 reps today. He put the prosthetic arm on. But what is a prosthetic arm? I don't know if that. I'm impressed. I just the guy amazes me. I just wonder, could he play in the NFL and be productive? So the question is, would you pull him for a player?
So they're asking if I would draft him?
4th or 5th round. They're not talking a high draft. They're talking a 4th or 5th round pick. If he was available,
sure.
What'd you think
He's
about it?
He's a outside linebacker pass rusher? Is that right?
Well, I think so. He's a linebacker.
Yeah,
I know he's on the line somewhere.
He's an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could tackle. He doesn't wear the prosthetic in the games, I think. He goes without it.
I think that's illegal, right? Yeah.
It's just his hand that he's missing, so he's still able to use his arm to wrap when he's tackling. So
and he does it quite well.
He's a decent tackler. I mean, he's got good speed. Might be a guy that you bring in and groom and play special teams. He could make Brock Coyle, expendable down the road. I mean, at least you're giving some competition, if nothing else. Yeah, it'd be a possibility, sure.
Yeah. All right. And then let's see. And Michael, how much are you looking to spend in this free agency? And there's one free agent you got to have who is, and I'll help you with this one, Coach. Michael, Coach just stressed he's not looking at dollars on this. That's Parag Marathi's forte, so he's going to leave it to that position to do. But Coach, just a ballpark figure though, because I was looking at that. I was thinking about that myself last few weeks ago. Because the 49ers want to roll over and have a lot of cash. If you don't want to end up in some of the situations a lot of teams around the league are, coming into a season with $2 left to spend on free agents. So you got to know when to be smart. You got to know the rollover is going to equal a certain amount. Do the 49ers in their second year shoot their wad now, which I would think would be stupid, or do they go ahead and conservatively?
That's why I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So Norwell's going to be the big ticket guy. He's going to be 13 to 15 million. We've got 58 after signing our draftees, 58 million. So between Cockrell, Gabriel, Davis, and Ely, even if we signed all four of those guys, we wouldn't spend, because DeMario and Ely and Gabriel aren't going to demand top dollar.
Yeah.
So they're going to be middle of the ground guys we can probably pick up for under 10 million a year. So it's still going to leave us 15 to 18 million a year to spend on even another free agent if we want to bring another guy in.
Wow, Coach.
So
wait a minute. I got to
still. I mean, I've considered it, but I haven't gone into all the nickel and dimed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then we'll have next year's salary cap will be added to that. So you're looking at, I'm looking at probably at least realistically a $15 to $20 million carryover. Because I don't see us spending every dime. And I don't think Lynch is going to do that either. The whole thing about the 49ers this year, the mantra seems to be aggressive, but be sensible about it.
Yeah,
a guy like Norwell's going to command a certain dollar amount. You know that. Cockrell, Gabriel, Davis, Ely, if those are the guys that we go in that direction, are not going to command top dollar. And the most expensive guy I think in the group would probably be Cockrell,
all right,
the corner, because of his, and even he's not a top 3 corner, so he's not going to demand that kind of money.
Yeah, all right, Coach. Listen, I see confirmation here on Toilolo. He has been cut. And people are saying, well, he's not better than anything we've got. The thing is, I seen him make some incredible plays last year. I could be wrong, but he looked like a game changer out there to me last year, making some incredible catches in incredible traffic. Coach, I don't know. Does Shanahan move on him? Because Cole Icatini looks to me like he may be fragile. I'm a little concerned with his ability to stay on the field.
Well, the thing about Hicatini is he gives us a dynamic receiver from inside.
That's
true. Tight end.
That's true.
Go back and look at his tape at Louisville. He looked like one of the best tight ends in the entire draft coming out.
Hands.
So he had great hands, was a great route runner, and he was a pretty good blocker. Tuolo, he knows Shanahan's scheme. He's a little slow for my liking.
But he's one of those guys that,
from a tight end position.
He's one of those guys that's always open, though, like Selleck.
Yeah. He can get open, no doubt.
So you would pass on him then, most likely, yeah?
I probably would, but only because, like I said, you're getting up there on our cap. I don't want to go too far. If he was willing to take a 1 year, maybe a 2 year deal for medium money, mid-range money.
And no guarantee, Coach. You know what I'm saying? You bring him in and he competes. Yeah. If you get cut, you get cut. That would
By the way,
yeah.
Carlos Hyde, Eric Reid.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
Yeah.
2 years.
You know what, Coach? I'm glad you brought them up. Let me get you
Yeah.
let me get you started. There's a lot of Carlos Hyde questions. One I remember was Coach. It says there's a lot of guys in this. This is a running back rich draft. Now, why would you spend on Carlos Hyde? Is seemingly the question.
Well, 2 year deal with Carlos, 5.5 to 6 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're not overspending. It makes sense. He's given us enough production at the position. I think another year, a year or two of Shanahan's offense, and I think he's going to make some more progress. And then we've still got 2 young guys, Joe Williams and Mr. Breida.
Yeah.
Both of them can, eventually, Joe Williams especially, because he's built for it, may supplant Carlos in the next year anyway.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, here's the thing. The names being thrown out here, you got the 2 Georgia running backs, Chubb and Sony. Sony Michelle. You got Rolls Royce. You got Penny.
Freeman, yeah.
You got Geis.
Joe Penny.
The names,
Penny's an interesting guy.
Yeah, the names just go on and on. This is the thing. Do you sweat and you sit there and think, oh my God, do I sign Carlos? So these guys are making me crazy. I want to bring some of those kids in. And when I say some of those kids, you probably can't get 2 guys out of the draft if you want it. Where do you go? But anyway, Coach, go ahead.
This is what I would do. Of course, you're gonna probably draft your running backs 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah.
There's enough of them out there to get a good one, and you want to push the guys that are there, especially Hyde if you keep them. If you don't keep them, you got to bring a guy in that can play every down and be a blocker and a receiver and everything else. Because remember, the system fit. It's got to be a system fit.
True.
Michelle and Chubb are 2 guys that they're good backs running the ball. They're decent receivers, but they're not the elite kind of receiver at running back you want, right?
Right.
Penny might be the exception there. He might be the complete package.
Yeah.
So if we get our guard in free agency, and we get a linebacker, then we don't need to draft those positions early on. We can trade down, and this is going to be involved in my strategy for the draft. I'll get into more detail, but we could trade down and do a deal with somebody that's looking to get a quarterback and get into 9. Trade down, get a few more picks, and then start building depth with the youth. And,
right. Coach,
so that's all a possibility.
Okay, because we got a lot of questions. I want to have to go a little more brief on the answer.
Okay.
Michael says, oh no, let's just skip Michael. Travis Milan says, what about Greg? Maybe he means Maben. He's Greg Main. Are you saying? I wonder if it's Maben. Anyway, what about Greg Maben? He's 6'2" and has some potential for depth. I hope I'm
right. That's right. He is over 6 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that right? Because I see maybe a typo. I think you meant Greg Maben.
Yeah, Maben is he's on our roster now. Yeah, that's the guy I mentioned earlier.
Right. All right.
Definitely in our plans.
Yeah. Okay. Coach did go over that already. Okay. I heard the 49ers are players, and he calls it the Jarvis Landry sweepstakes. I like that. Dolomite. There's Landry. This year he's got over 300 receptions, which is already a record. But his other record is he only ran for 220 yards. I got to take shots at Landry because I just think he's overrated. But Coach, go ahead. What is your response on that?
Okay, so the question was again?
I heard the 49ers are in the Landry sweepstakes. Your thoughts on that?
Oh. Scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
We're just throwing that out there. That's a Lynchism. We want to do that. to kind of throw people off track, overbid for them.
Hopefully the Rams will bite.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be perfect.
All
Yeah.
right. Barry Reyes wants to know, Shanahan had his most success with big wide receivers. Just look at what he did with the Falcons. You know, it's an interesting point. Shanahan, I think, adapted to the Falcons. And the reason I say that, and I'll let you get right in, I think he adapted because why did he come to San Francisco and go to the opposite side of the clock? Sanu and Julio were already there when he got there. Coach, what do you think? Am I on the right track there?
I think exactly, because it's the same way I feel about it. When he was at Cleveland, his receivers were small. When he was at Washington, most of them were small. He didn't have the real big guys. I think when he got to Atlanta, he adjusted to the personnel that he had.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Or else he wouldn't have came in and went out and came back with some of the smallest guys I've ever seen in life. And he wouldn't have drafted Taylor. If he was into big guys, he would not have drafted Trent Taylor. See? You got to think, when you're looking at what Kyle Shanahan's doing, you got to pay close attention. What's happening is not an accident. He did that on purpose. And it worked last season to the tune of 5 games in a row. And think about this for a moment. Had Jimmy G started the season, 49ers might have been in the playoffs with those same small guys. Let me go to the next question.
Oh, yeah.
Razor says, Goodwin and Taylor can run bubble screens. Yeah, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the 49ers don't do well with bubble screens. Razor seems to disagree. He says that not only Garcon, but Goodwin and Taylor can handle bubble screens as well.
Yeah, but Goodwin and Taylor can't break tackles.
Well,
that's what the bubble screen is used for.
All right. And Antonio Brunel Jacobs. Also, what about the former Falcons cornerback, Jalen Collins? Would we be wise to sign him?
Yeah, he's trouble. He's got problems. That's why he was released. We don't, remember, there's a culture here now with this team. And the guys that got trouble in their past and they're veterans and they're not getting over it, they're not going to get over it. Okay? You can catch them when they're young, when they're youth. But when they get up to adulthood and they're still getting in trouble and getting suspended, and like Cushing was a good example of the linebacker for the Texans. Just too many drug issues, always getting suspended every year or every couple of years, and not a guy you want to bring in because you can't rely on him. I wish him the best, but he's not for us.
It's like Cushions over in Texas. People kept saying, "We should get Cushions." I said, "Get Cushions for what? He can't play unless he's on PEDs, and they're not going to allow him to do PEDs. That's why he's retiring."
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Collins had some other issues too. He had
behavior,
both legal and drug, right?
Yeah.
I think.
So you got to stay with these guys. Lynch is
he's still got stuff he hasn't solved yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him here now.
Yeah. Antonio McCoy's question is, who do you think we'll draft with the pick 9, or do you think we'll drop down? We trading down, or are we gonna hold that pick, Mr. GM? What are you gonna do?
Well, it's a little early right now to say it.
Yeah.
I would reserve my answer for that for the draft edition.
All right.
But I'll say this: we're going to make this draft fun and exciting, and fans are gonna love the people that we do get and bring in.
All right. Brunel Jacobs says, "Would you trade for Tyrann Mathieu or sign if he gets released by the Cardinals?" And that's a kind of a possibility, isn't it? Tyrann Mathieu. Do we have?
Yeah, Mathieu.
No, go ahead.
I've watched him play. Now, last year he was healthy, and Marquise Goodwin undressed him on a go route. If the ball had been thrown better, it would have been 6. He is not as fast as he plays better when he stays deep and then reacts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's how he killed Kaepernick. He just read him and he acted. You're right.
And of course, Kaepernick stared down his receivers all the time as well, so pretty easy to pick him. But the thing about Mathieu is he slowed down. I think the knee injuries have has slowed him down.
Mm.
He's probably a better box type of defender now. Put him in the box, let him play against the tight ends and the backs. Not going to fit our scheme.
Yeah.
We got guys for that already. So I would say move on from him. He's still good, but he's just not going to fit us.
And you know something, Coach? You see that little incident that Tyron had when we played the Cardinals when he had body slamming Trent Taylor? That's because Trent was smoking him on every play, smoking him, and he got mad. I said, "Oh, I had a feeling that was going to happen." Tyron's lost a step. You're right. Omar Baragan says, "Who are the 49ers planning to?" Well, yes. You know, guys, let's get away from the draft, and because there's going to be too many of those. We'll do that later. Let me see. Antonio McCoy says, "Why pay for a wide receiver? We can make one in DJ Chark." DJ Chark, right? Okay. We'll do that one then. Coach, I didn't hear you mention anything about going after, because you mentioned Allen Robinson, but then you said you didn't fit the scheme. Antonio, Coach, you haven't said anything about any wide receiver pickups, have you?
Taylor Gabriel, because he's a scheme
fit. Yeah.
Taylor Gabriel would make sense.
Yeah.
To bring him in, and again, like I said, there's an area of our offense that's missing right now. You know, we can run bubble screens like the other gentleman brought up with Taylor and Goodwin, but Goodwin and Taylor don't break tackles.
Yeah.
They're not strong enough. Taylor Gabriel he's a running back when he gets the ball in his hands. Yeah. That's the difference. We can still draft a wide receiver. I mean, right now Pierre Garçon is a question mark for us.
Yeah.
Because of his neck. I mean, it could prevent him from
continuing
his career. So we would almost have to draft a receiver, I think. But we'll talk more about that later, for sure.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Nicholas Positeri, Dion Lewis, Jerick McKinnon. Are you interested, Coach?
I'm intrigued in McKinnon. The reason why is if Carlos decides to test the free agent market and stay out there, then obviously we can't re-sign him. We're going to need to get somebody else, and McKinnon would probably be the next best option.
All right.
But the difference is he's not as physical. He's definitely got the quickness. He can carry the ball. He can catch the ball really well coming out of the backfield, which we really need. But remember, in Shanahan's offense, you got a two-headed monster there for the backfield. You got to have it. You got a guy that can pound inside between the tackles, and then you got a guy that can get outside and catch the ball and potentially take it to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
McKinnon gives you that aspect, but we've got that in Breda too. So I don't know if it makes sense to bring him in. And the other guy, who was the other guy again? Dion Lewis, right?
Dion, yeah.
Yeah, Dion's a spot player, receiver, I think, better as a receiver. He's not an every down back. He doesn't stay healthy. He's got a lot of injury problems.
Catches the cold a lot. Yeah.
I don't think he's been healthy a whole season yet. So that would be a concern for me, I think.
And we've got Tony on the phone. Let's see what Tony has to say. Tony.
Hey, Ronbo.
Hey, Tony. Go ahead with your question.
All right, Coach Tim, I have a few questions for you. The first one is, why would you sign Coney Ely? He got released by the Patriots when they absolutely needed an edge rusher. He has character issues. And to be honest, I don't think he's better than the guys we have now. So why would you decide to sign him?
Well, first off, the Patriots put him out there, but they wanted to bring him back. The Jets interceded and picked him up off the wire. That's what happened in that case. As far as character issues, I haven't actually heard of any with Cody. He had a good season with the Jets this past year. Had I think it was 8 sacks. He had over 20 pressures, and he was stout in the run game. And then I think I mentioned he would be a good pickup if we're looking at Eric Armstead, and Armstead's not going where we want him to go. That's the reason of thinking behind that. He's just one of, a lot of free agents out there probably that would fit that mold. He's the one name that I did a little research on, and watching his level of play, on film, that's why I chose him.
All right. Hey, Tony, your next question?
Yeah, the next one, what would you think about bringing in like Sony Michel or Nick Chubb from Georgia? I know Sony is more of a pass-catching back, which is good for the system, but Nick Chubb is like the perfect complement to Matt Breida, just assuming that Carlos Hyde doesn't come back. What do you think about those guys?
Yeah, definitely. I like them both. I mean, Michelle gives us both dimensions. He can run and catch the ball. So Chubb is more of a between the tackles guy. That'd be a great change up with Breida. So yeah, either one of them would probably make sense for us. Either one would be a good pick.
All right.
Yeah, I'm liking them both, and they both did very well at the combine today.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Or yesterday.
All right, Tony. Good questions. Let me. We're gonna have to limit you to that, Tony, because all of a sudden the phone lines are running. Tony, thanks. All right, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Tony.
All right. Let's see. Hey, Razor.
Razor.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up with you?
What's up, Razor?
What up, Coach and Ronbo? Hey, Ronbo, real quick, I think you got the wrong player mixed up with the Falcons. It's not Toilolo, it's Hooper that you're talking about.
They're cutting Hooper.
Hooper got released?
No. Hooper is the one that you're talking about. It's always getting open. Toilolo is a backup. I think you confused Ronbo. Which one?
No. You know what I'm going by? I didn't see the Falcons that often this year, but last
Toilolo's
year,
the real big guy, right? The tall guy.
Yeah, guy's huge.
Yeah.
I'm talking about last year. Tololo made some key catches in some key situations, and I was impressed. Now, I'm not seeing him this year. I'll go along with that. I'm talking about during the Super Bowl run. Dude was a damn.
Yeah, I think you mean Hooper, Ronbo, not Toilolo. He didn't do much. He's more of a blocker.
I mean, this year, and I was going to say this year. Now, last year, I know there was Tololo, because I kept saying, who is that guy? But not this year. You're right. You're probably right. I wasn't paying much attention this season. But
yeah, one observation I'll give you is with Sarkisian calling the plays, I don't think anybody had a good year with Atlanta.
I know. But I definitely remember Tololo because I thought he had a very interesting name. I said, who is this guy? And
big Samoan kid, yeah.
Yeah, and as I say, the Super Bowl run, every time I looked up Tololo in the end zone, I said, Jesus, who is this guy? So, and I'm just going by that, Razor. Now, this past season, I got nothing to say about this last season. Hooper might be the guy, I guess, like you say, but because I wasn't paying that close of attention. But because only seeing 2 or 3 guys Matt Ryan was throwing to very often, when he couldn't find Julio Jones, he was hitting Sanu, and there was another guy, and it was just a strange offense. But anyway, go ahead with your question for the coach.
All right, Coach. Why are you going to keep Ward at $8.5 million when he get hurt week 3?
Well, because I think Ward was a broken arm last year. I think his wheels are good. He's shown that he can play safety and corner. So he gives us an option there in case things don't go the way we want in the draft or free agency with a corner. So he's a guy that, you got to think about. The thing about being a GM, you got to think about all scenarios. Things don't go your way for some reason in the draft or free agency. Now you got to think about, well, the guys I got, who could step in and what can I do with them? Ward's a guy that you can actually put out there at corner and start him, and he's going to do a better job than Dante Johnson did.
Yeah.
However, the thing about it, though, is will he stay healthy? Well, if he's playing corner and not banging people inside as a safety, that might be his better position.
Yeah.
So maybe it works. That's the thing. You take a chance, and I don't think he's too expensive at that position. I think he's a lot of guys out there that are playing nickel and safety are making as much or more money than he is. So the money issue is probably not as big a thing because of our cap space. So
There you go.
It's an option. It's a good option, I think, for us.
All right. Let's let's. You know what, guys? Let's keep everybody to one question. I noticed the phone lines are starting to fill up. All right, Razor, are you cool? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right.
Yeah, I like your Coney Ely pick, and he was actually drafted by the Panthers, not the Patriots.
Was it
And he
the
was
Panthers?
traded.
They drafted him originally?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the one.
Okay.
He was the one that
My
got
mistake.
the interception in the Super Bowl versus Denver.
Yeah, and and I want to add to that too. Funny thing about Bill Belichick, he did that same thing to Dante Hightower. Remember that? He says, "Okay, Dante, go ahead and check out things and see what you like." And they always come running back to Bill. Everybody loves Uncle Bill, man. They're not leaving. They pretend to leave.
He was traded from Carolina to New England. He wasn't a free agent with them.
No, I mean when he was leaving, as Tony was pointing out a minute ago, Tony said he was released by the Patriots, but coach says no. He was told go ahead and take a look at the market, and he ended up getting picked up. But anyway,
No, he was traded
But it's
in the
Panthers.
offseason, and they cut him because he didn't fit the system.
okay. So Ely, so Coach Ely left where? I mean, when he was
Was it
told-
Carolina?
he left. Okay, was that after or before? Because I haven't paid attention to Coney Ely. Did he end up with the Patriots after Panthers or before?
After, probably.
Okay, so last offseason, the Panthers traded him to the Patriots for a second-round pick, and Bill Belichick cut him because he didn't fit the system. That's pretty dumb.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that background on him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Razor. You came in, you got the question, and he
All
made
right.
the correction. All right.
Yep.
All right, Razor.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's go to Las Vegas. Area code 702. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes. Who is
Hello.
this? Yes. What is your name?
Oh, hello. My name is Richard, but
Richard.
call
Yeah.
me Riker.
Riker. Okay. Riker.
Yeah.
Riker.
So,
have you got a question for
I
the
was
coach?
saying, what do you think would happen if we gave Garoppolo for the first pick and then signed Kaepernick?
I think you were kidding. Okay. Well, go ahead.
So the question is, what would I think if we gave
The first
Garoppolo
was that the first pick you say,
Yeah.
Riker? Yeah.
Yeah.
for the
I
first
think,
pick in the draft?
being from Las Vegas, as
I would cry
49ers
myself to sleep
fan,
every night if that happened.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Riker. 1, 2, 3 kid interrupting.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that the 49ers the 49ers have to do something to keep my my rooting for, because the Raiders are coming to Vegas, and that's where I'm from, and I mean, just with the games being in Vegas and everything.
Okay, Riker,
Okay.
give us the question though. I missed it. I think you said give up a first round draft pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, and then pick up Colin Kaepernick. Am I right on
I think
that?
the opposite.
Yes.
Okay. Would
Okay,
you,
well,
Riker? Go ahead, Coach.
I mean, and then I think the Kaepernick. I mean, yeah, he's been blackballed, but what we need to see is the I think that the Sri Lankan people are starting to take over stuff like the NFL and things like that.
Okay, Riker. I'll tell you, Riker.
Because there's-
Riker. Okay, thank you, Riker. We'll get your question answered, and you listen up. Okay, we'll hang up now, and we'll get your question answered. Okay. All right,
Okay.
Coach.
Okay.
I think Riker is just kidding. Okay.
Okay.
Because-
I'll just quickly answer it anyway.
Okay. Because I don't know if you
no-
know the Sri Lankan question though, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Whatever on that.
Yeah.
I will say this: there's no way I would give up Garoppolo for Kaepernick in any way, shape, or form. When Kaepernick was here, I rooted for him. I wished, and I'm an old quarterback coach, so I knew a little bit about the position. I didn't feel he was our answer then, and I wish he did get, a chance to latch on with another team. I mean, I do wish him the best in that regard.
Yeah.
But he's not a Garoppolo. He's not a franchise quarterback. Not in this system. Now, maybe he could do better in another system somewhere else, but that's beside the point. The point is, we got Garoppolo. We ain't giving him up. He's our franchise quarterback. I'm not trading number one for nobody unless I trade back and it's to get more picks.
Yeah, in fact, I think the Seahawks blew it. I think they should have picked up Cap. Russell Wilson's going to end up being killed out there running around like that, and Cap could step right in and run a similar offense. It's Nighthawk, Coach. Hold on a second. Nighthawk.
Hey, what's up, Rambo?
Nighthawk, how you doing, man? Nighthawk, you got a question for the coach?
Yes, I do.
Go right ahead.
Nighthawk.
What's up, Tom?
I'm good. How you doing?
My question is, would you go for the cornerback from Chicago?
Kyle Fuller?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Kyle's good. He had kind of an off year, I'm told, compared to other years. And then he kind of picked it up toward the last half of the season. But, the guy that I picked, Ross Cockrell, actually showed a little better. Now, it could be scheme related. We know that Fangio runs that cover 2 in Chicago, and Kyle may be a better fit for a different scheme. I think that's worth considering. But Cockrell would be my guy just because he's played in multiple schemes. He's played the man coverage a lot. We play about 60% man, sometimes 70%, depending on a given game. Cockrell can play that man. Fuller, to me, seems like he's overmatched against the bigger receivers.
Uh-oh.
That might be an issue. Fuller's good, but he's just he's in my top 3 for sure.
Okay.
But Cockrell would be my number 1. Kyle would probably be number 3. Malcolm Butler would be number 2. Those are my 3 guys I like.
There you go.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for answering my question.
Thanks, Nighthawk.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we got one more here. We have the 1, 2, 3 kid, aka John Cena Jr. Hey, happy birthday, Connor. I've been meaning to get back to you on that, man.
The time is up. The time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. I'm the franchise. I'm worth shining now. You can't see me.
Yes, I can see you, Tyler, very well, actually. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I was watching the Saquon highlights last night.
Oh yeah.
Dude gave me chills.
Yeah. He's
I was like,
guy's a
oh
beast.
my. I said there's 3 guys I'd be okay taking in the first round without hesitation. That'd be Saquon, Minka Fitzpatrick, because they're both arguably 2 of the best athletes in the draft.
All right, Tyler, this is
Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, Tyler, this is for questions. You know that, don't you? And do you have one? Yeah, go ahead.
I missed part of this. So, who do you have us picking in the first round?
Yeah, okay. Tyler, guys, I was trying to avoid draft questions. Yeah, okay, but we already got it. Go ahead.
Okay. I would just say this, because we're going to do another show, I think, for the draft, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is, yeah.
I'm going to have a more direct answer for that then, because I already have most of it worked out already. But where we're picking at number 9, the only way we would get Saquon is if we moved up to get him, and that's if Cleveland doesn't take him at number 1. I think if Cleveland's smart, they're going to take him number 1. That's what I think. I would love to have him. Don't get me wrong, because he is dynamic. He's the best running back in this draft.
God, he could be the best football player in the draft, period.
Oh, yeah.
Coach,
and he's testing out better than all of them, too.
Yeah, just by miles.
Yeah, he had like 29 reps of bench press.
Yeah, and he was mad because he didn't get 30. All right, Tyler, we're gonna hang you up now because we're gonna move along because we're running out of time. There we go. Hey, Raymond!
What's up, Ronbo? How y'all doing tonight?
Raymond, doing all right. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there, man. I'm just addicted to the 49ers. I seen Ronbo pop up on my app, and I just called in. I hear what you got going on, though.
Yeah.
I got a question for him.
Good.
What you gonna do about my cornerback? That's all I want to know.
Hey, Coach, you already know Raymond is obsessed with this issue. This, above everything, has been bothering him. What are we doing with the cornerback? Coach has went over that a bit, but Raymond may have missed it. So, Coach, real quickly, I guess you can go over that again.
The guy that I want to bring in a free agent to start. And the guy that I like is the top 5 quarterback top 7 cornerback in the NFL. His name's Ross Cockrell. Currently, he's with the Giants, but he came from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a roster casualty when the Steelers signed DJ. Not DJ. What's his first name? Joe Hayden.
Oh.
They signed Joe Hayden, and he became. They traded him to the Giants, but he's one of the guys I studied. I studied 10 corners in free agency and another 10 in draft. Of the 10 I studied, he popped out the most. And the reason why was because he challenges receivers. He's always in the area. I seen him cover guys like A.J. Green. Didn't get to see him play against Julio, but he did play against a couple other guys in the AFC. And, he's got a pretty good one there in A.J., and he locked him down pretty good. The other one was that stood out was Brandon Marshall. He locked him down as well. So I like the way he played. He was very physical for a guy that's not overly big. He's 6 foot, just about 6'1", weighs about 195. And
how much money you think you had to pay this guy? He's not that pricey, huh?
Well, he's going to be, he's not going to be in the top 5, so he's not going to be a real high salary guy. But I think he'll get, he'll get a good contract.
And get the job done.
For sure. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want. You want somebody in there that's going to stick like glue to that receiver. When we call a man coverage scheme, and he's the guy you want in there because.
Coach, what's his name? His last name was Cockrell, right?
It was a funny pronunciation. Yeah, cockroach or something.
Cockrell. I think it's that C-O. Is that a C-O, Coach, or C-A? C-O-C-K.
C-O-C-K-R-E-L-L.
There you go, Cockrell. You got that, Raymond?
Go back and look at his Senior Bowl and his Pittsburgh Steeler tape.
Yeah. All right. All right, Raymond.
All right.
I like him.
Well, as long as you address that, I'm fine. I'm just worried about that.
Yeah.
Everybody is, Raymond.
And it popped up, and I just wanted to join you guys. Whatever you guys are doing.
Appreciate you, Raymond. It was a good question, too.
Number 2 need. That's our number 2
need. Are
need.
you coming back on tonight or no?
Tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow for the normal meeting on Sunday.
All right.
All right.
Go Niners.
And be looking for you, too, Raymond. Have a good night. Yeah.
Take care. Thanks for the question.
All right. Let's we did the phone. All right. Okay. So let's get to. And Mark Duncan says, Coach, I'm going to ask about Amendola, but I think he probably means Edelman because I think Amendola's got another year on his contract. I think Edelman's a free agent, though. But I think he fits a lot of categories for us, character and championships. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely one of the guys I looked at. He's the one coming off the injury, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about that. That's the one thing that concerned me about him.
2 times already. I don't know. That's his second really bad injury in a row that took him out for a season. Yeah. It's a good
2 years in a row. Yeah. So that was why I looked past him because just the injuries. He's getting older. We got Taylor. I mean, I think we're going to sign Goodwin can play inside in the slot as well. Bourne could play in there. We got a couple of guys on our practice squad in IR that are coming back that I think would be good fits as well. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just probably wouldn't make sense.
Coach, I made a mistake. Danny Amendola's contract, you know what? Him and Edelman must have signed the same time. Amendola's contract is out, so Mark Duncan he does mean Amendola. Okay.
Well, they're both the same guy to me.
Yeah, I know, right? They look like clones out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Same exact game. Yeah.
One of them is buddies though with Garoppolo, right?
Aren't they both? I mean,
maybe.
Maybe.
But I know.
But maybe Amendola with the Italian connection and all. That's a good point. One of them. Yeah. You're right. He's close with one of them. Probably both, but closer than one with the other. So it could be Amendola.
Yeah, Jimmy could pull a fast one behind my back, and he could lobby for him.
Yeah.
Jed might overrule that one too.
Yeah. He's 32 though. Okay. Well,
he's up there.
Yeah. Okay.
But experience matters. Let me tell you.
Yeah, especially in this situation because Those guys know every little crafty trick in the book. They're always able to make those big, huge plays that freak me out every year.
Yeah.
Also, Antonio wants to know, should we sign? Here's everybody's favorite question. Should we sign Gore to retire with us?
Whoa, boy. I've been kicking this around for a couple of weeks. And Indianapolis did come out yesterday or today and say that they're letting him go completely. They're not going to try to re-sign him.
Yep.
So, and he's still producing. I mean, I went back and looked at his numbers, and his numbers are still good.
Yeah.
He's still got he's doing good. I mean, he didn't get the 1,000 yards, but
he was up there.
Yeah, he was platooning with another running back. So, he might be somebody we could bring in if he wanted to finish his career here. Maybe we could bring him in. It wouldn't be a great, fantastic contract, but we could bring him in and let him retire as a 49er. Maybe play out the year, and see how he does. Especially if Carlos goes bye-bye, I think it might make sense to do something like that. The thing is, he doesn't know the scheme, though, so you'd have to learn the scheme.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he would fit it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it's possible, though. At least bring him back and let him retire here. That's for sure.
I know. I'd love to see that so much. But I've thought about it. Where do you put it, Frankie? And Frankie's already made it clear. Listen, I want to go someplace where, they play my style of football. And you know what he means by that, don't you, Coach? Mm-hmm. He's talking about what his favorite coach probably is when he was playing. They were playing smash mouth football. And it was
Jimmy,
yeah, and they were just between tackles, Potty on one side, Davis on the other. We're gonna hit you right in the face if you don't move. And then Frankie
that's the Ravens now, right? Go to his brother John's team. He could play that kind of football.
Yeah, a lot of questions, Coach. Let me go to the next question. Antonio says, "What does Salah need to have a top 3 defense?" Hey, the missing link. I like that question, Antonio. What does Salah need to snap up to a top 3 defense?
Well, we need Marsh to work out as a pass rusher. We need Eric Armstead to step up inside. Solomon has to improve, which I think he will. And we need that corner. We need that corner that's capable of shutting down a receiver in a game or competing on every down, because we don't have that right now. Except Akello.
Yep.
Akello's shown that he can do that, so I'm satisfied with him. But we got to get it on the other side too.
Yep. And Akello's going to get, and Coach Akello's going to look even better next year. I got a feeling. And this is why we probably both agree that it's time to call Isaiah Oliver into Santa Clara. I think that coach over there knows what he's doing with his kids. And that was a fast progression. And you watch Isaiah Oliver, there's some big similarities in the way they play.
Well, you saw me my when I emailed you, I told you who I was thinking about.
Yeah.
The guy that played with Akello at Colorado, so
Last question, Coach, from Ryan Monroe wants to know top 3 needed positions in the draft. Everybody's still talking draft. Let me see if I don't want to go to draft too much because we're not at that point yet. Seed Gamer says, if we resign Hyde and Barkley falls to us, do we pass on that amazing talent? I love these hypotheticals.
This is what would happen in that scenario. Remember, Saquon Barkley is a great college football player, but he hasn't played it down yet in the NFL.
Good point.
And we know that Hyde has.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind signing Hyde. And then if we got Barkley and we worked him in and he started showing his potential and he really was the player that we think he is, then, we could trade Carlos. Right? We could trade him. Teams would take him.
Yeah.
We don't have to, get greedy over it.
Yeah.
But, if he managed to fall to us and we had the opportunity to draft him, I wouldn't hesitate.
Yeah. I tell you, that kid, man, his
He's awesome.
his legs look like tree trunks coming down the field at high speed. That's why I remember playing against guys like that. You know, you try to become a gopher on that hit. You go down and try to hit him on the top of the shoes. You hit him anywhere above that, you're going to get seriously hurt. You hit him in his upper body, you're a dead man. So, you know, Barkley is going to own the league once he gets in it. As soon as he feels his way around, gets the ropes and everything. And coach, can you imagine Saquon standing back there protecting Jimmy G? He'd look like He-Man and Man of Arms standing next to him, waiting for a guy to come running in there. This guy benches 29 times, 225 pounds, and he was angry with himself because he didn't get to 30. You come running in there, and Barkley's going to be waiting for you. You're going to get hurt. This guy is if you were building a robot, coach, to play pro football, you would take every dimension diameter and you'd put it into that robot. It would look like Saquon Barkley.
Either him or Michelle.
Yeah. Sony Michel's good, but
that dude got a body on him too, man.
And he's more stronger than he appears too. But you know, Barkley's just a freak. Moving at that speed with all that size, can leap 41 into, oh my God, what is this guy's not even human? It's not even fair. Okay, let me get it started stuck on Saquon.
I have one thing just to interject real quick to apologize. I think there was a couple of fans. They were talking about the same scenario if Barkley came to us, and I think I critiqued him on his blocking and his pass catching, and I didn't feel he was good enough.
Yeah.
But when I revisited it and looked at a few more games, I stand corrected. Like you said, the guy can catch the ball very well. He does block very well. And, of course, he's a fantastic runner. So, he's the complete back. There's no doubt.
Oh, man. We got to go, Coach. So, you know what that means, Coach? Since you told me that everyone in the house is awake, you got to scream out of here with me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, by the way, before you go, please get in the Ronbo Sports app and like that video. Or like the video. Like, you have a choice. I'm not even going to mention the other choice. Please hit like.
Please hit like.
And we'll be back tomorrow. And by the way, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock on regular time. 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock. We like to move you in earlier on the weekends just so we can get Trey from VA to get in and have his shots at us too. And also, please, in order to help Ronbo Sports, all it takes is a click of the commercials. Not every day, all the time, or a bunch of them, but just click one here and there, and you'll go a long way to help us keep this baby running. All right, Coach, I'm going to count 3, 2, 1. Niners! Yeah!
Yes.
It was fun.
Loving it.